Right, morning, Maria. Thank you for
Morning.
agreeing to take part in my new interview or podcast under the spotlight. I'm bringing this in association with Ming, which is my free property networking event, which you actually attend. No entry fees, no costs, and most importantly, we have no upsell. It's just good old-fashioned networking. Right, it's lovely to have you on board. Have you got a cup of tea first?
I've had one actually. Thank you very much.
You're already done. Okay. Yeah. In that case, what do I know about you first? A couple of facts. Maria Schultz, you're born on Halloween recently. Married to David. Yeah. You're a chartered legal executive, is that right?
Correct. And a licensed conveyancer, yeah. And
you've been involved in property for around about 12 years, dealing mainly in commercial and residential nowadays.
That's it, yeah.
Okie doke. I've got a few facts about you then. So this is the way that it goes. I'll just ask you a series of questions, just all about you, what you do, what makes you tick. And but first of all, what I'd like to do is probably warm you up with a few random quick-fire questions, just for a bit of fun. Sure. And we'll follow that with 5 more at the end as well, and then we'll actually get into the actual interview itself. So, number one, if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pizza.
Okay. I don't like pizza. I don't like pizza. All right, number 2, who's your hero? Who's your hero?
My hero. Oh gosh, that's a hard one. My brother.
Nice. Keep it in the family. Next one. Yep. What is your favorite hobby?
Reading books. Yeah.
Something I've never really got into, but I am at the moment, so I'm enjoying it. Particularly like Darren Hardy. Okay, next one. What characteristic do you most like about yourself?
Ambitious.
Good one to have. And then the last one before we actually start. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Africa.
And why?
I think it's a beautiful country. I've been there twice. The people are lovely. No matter whether they're doing well for themselves or not doing well for themselves, they're always happy and they're always kind. And the place itself is gorgeous.
Lovely. Excellent. Right, that's your first, actually random ones. Let's actually get down to the actual interview itself. In less than 5 minutes, and I've got a bell, so I'll stop you after 5 minutes because I know what you like. You can talk. I know that.
Oh yeah.
In less than 5 minutes, try and keep it to around about 5 minutes. Tell me a bit about yourself, about your background, where you've come from, and what you do.
Super. So going way back now, because I've only just had a birthday, I was born in Canada. Original goal was to become a horse riding instructor because I was heavily into horse riding, did a lot of competing, had my own horse, etc. Moved to England in 1996 to pursue that goal. Got so far up the ladder in getting my instructorship through the British Horse Society. Found that I didn't like the job in the end because it was hard graft. The first job I had was in the industry, was living in a static caravan at a horse farm, looking after 30 horses, ridiculous hours. It was dirty, it was cold, it was wet, and it didn't pay very well. So I gave up that, went straight back into secretarial work, which is what I was doing when I was in Canada before I left. One day, one of the other secretaries said to me, because I was working in a legal firm, "Would you like to do your legal exec course, Maria?" And I said, "Oh yeah, what's that?" And off we went. So 6 years later, I finally qualified and also qualified as a licensed conveyancer, and started working at, I think it was Manby and Stewart Solicitors in town in Telford here. Actually doing some planning work rather than conveyancing. I've also worked at councils before, doing very random things. Used to do litter prosecutions and a few commercial leases and licensing applications and all sorts. And then I sort of did start venturing into doing specifically property when I was hired as a supervisor of the commercial property department at Telford and Wrekin Council. So I think I spent about, maybe 8 years there, I think, and then moved back into the scary world.
That's correct. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Then moved back into the scary world of private practice and got on okay. Hopped around a bit with a few firms trying to find one I really liked. And ended up at Clark Solicitors in Telford, which I really enjoyed working there. Very, very nice team of people. Learned a lot from Paul Roberts, the partner there. I was originally taken on as his assistant, and within 6 months, don't know how I did it, but managed to build up my own caseload, which obviously they were very pleased with. Then started to break into the property networking industry.
Which was where we met, I think. You were at Clark's, I think, when we met.
Yeah, which is where we met. So that was off the back of a tip I got from a business networking international meeting I used to attend. I did that for a year, then decided I need to specialize in doing just the property networking groups, which brought me an awful lot of work. I did about 6 months of absolutely going to every single one within an hour radius of this. Built up a huge network, really enjoyed the work because I'm an investor myself. And then this year, with all the lockdown and everything, with being, working from home, I toyed with the idea for about a year and never quite had the guts to do it. And then having sat at home for 3 months working from home for Clark's, I thought, you know what, I can do this. So I got my little pen and paper out and started doing all my financials, figuring out if we could keep the roof over our head if it didn't go well. And we could. So I thought, right, I'm going to do it. And that's the reason my brother's a hero, because I spoke to him quite a lot about whether to do it or not. He became a mechanic with his own business roundabout when he was about 25. He'd apprenticed for a few years and he's a damn good mechanic. And he's had a roaring business. He's now 60 and he's nearly retired. And he's, he's paid off his house when he was 40 or something crazy like that. And I just thought, you know what, that's what I want to do. And he really encouraged me to do this. And he said, I don't know what you're waiting for. You've done all the figures. He said, I think if you wait, you're just putting it off. He said, just go for it. And I went for it on the 1st of June. And here I am in November. Business is great. Really enjoying it. I'm actually working harder, which wasn't really the goal with self-employment, but I really enjoy it because it's the kind of work I'm interested in because, as I say, I'm an investor. So, and my time is my own. If I want to work on it, in an evening or a weekend, I can. If I don't want to, I don't have to.
What is you do consultancy for Setford, is that right?
Yeah. So there's about 400 consultants employed by Setford, all in different areas. A lot of property people, and basically we're not employed by them. We're all self-employed. A lot of people got their own limited company set up, which I have. Mine's called Maple Leaf Legal Services, just because I'm Canadian. And
that was the next question. So that Maple Leaf is actually, that's you. That's Maria. Maple Leaf is okay.
That's me. So anyway, and they take a cut of the fees that you earn to give you back office support, admin, accounts, and stuff like that. And it works very well. We're all set up from home. Some people go out and rent an office or whatever. But we all work from home and the support is very, very good. And the collaboration between consultants is very good as well. Because that was the one thing I was a bit, worried about. Oh gosh, what if I come across a matter I don't quite know what to do? Because nobody knows everything. If you just fire a question out to all the consultants, somebody will come back to you within minutes. Okay. And they're really helpful. So that's how it works.
Fab. Yeah. Well, there's some things I didn't know about you there. I mean, I thought I knew quite a lot about you, but I don't know that much. Obviously, I didn't know. So you're originally from Canada.
I am. Yeah, I left there when I was 20. So I went to school there and everything. And my brother actually, he's British. Mum and Dad moved over from Warsaw to Canada when my brother was 2.5. So you wouldn't know he was British because he's as broad Canadian as it comes.
Wow. Right, next question. You've been involved for 12 years in property. I'd like to know some of your highs and lows. So keep it simple within a couple of minutes or so. What's the greatest experience that you've had so far? And the one, if you want to call it a disaster, something that you would change if you could.
Right. The high has definitely been, and we can't quite believe it, my husband and I, that we've managed to acquire 3 investment properties in the last year and a half. And that's obviously brought me in the income, which has given me the confidence to go self-employed, knowing that I've got that coming in as a backup. And I think, I hate to say that, I haven't really had any terrible disasters. Potentially moving out of local authority when I did, I was tempted by one firm to go to them, and I won't name who they are, but I went to them. They promised me the moon on a stick. I could have whatever I want, you know, whatever money I want, whatever holidays I want. And the firm was an absolute disaster to work for. I stuck it for 6 weeks, and neither of us were happy with it, the boss nor I. And in the end, we just said, forget it, this isn't working. They actually terminated my probation period, but I was very happy with that because I didn't want to stay anyway, and I told them that. And then I started looking for the jobs. I got an interim job that sort of kept us going for a while, and then the position at Clark's came up, and Paul Roberts very kindly said, you know, if you'd have come to me straight afterwards, I would have hired you straight away. So that was really nice to hear, because I'd had Paul on the other side of other things when I was at the council, and we got on quite well. So yeah, so I was very pleased to be offered.
You can always take something good out about those. So you've obviously learned from it.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, and you know that firm just wasn't for me. No. It's a very good firm. You know, it hires lots of people. It's got a very good reputation. Just wasn't for me, and that's absolutely fine. And I still get on with the guy who works there, the partner there, no problem. And yeah, so.
But it molds you. It does mold you.
It does. Lessons learned.
And you wouldn't be where you are now if you hadn't had that experience.
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay, right. So imagine that I'm an aspiring apprentice, or maybe I wanted to look to change my career, and I wanted to follow your path. One, would you advise following your path? And secondly, where should I start?
Well, funnily enough, we've got an 8-year-old boy. Well, he's nearly 8, and so he's not quite, you know, at the start of his career. But my advice to him is always going to be, make your own way. If you, whatever you are capable of doing, whatever skill you have, if you can do it on your own without getting a job, do it. Because I think, I mean, most people go to work, and that's been me for quite a while, quite a few years of, you know, going to work and being paid by the people and being told by the people what to do, etc., and relying on that wage to keep me buoyant. And I think if you can make it on your own, then pursue that, because you will never answer to anybody else. And as my brother told me when I was contemplating being self-employed, you can never fire yourself.
Good advice. I similarly, I jumped ship myself 20 years ago, and I've never looked back. I've worked for myself for 20 years now, and
I don't think I could ever look back now. Even I've only been doing this 4 months, and I said to Dave the other day, I said I don't think I could ever work for anybody again.
It's the I mean, you do end up working all kinds of hours, but it's the quality that you get as well. You're able to stop and just do what stop things within reason. You're able to stop things.
Oh yeah, within reason. Yeah. So
okay. Right. So home life. What do you get up to when you're outside of work? You're married, yeah. You're married to Dave, and you've got
married to Dave. Yeah, married to Dave. We met on Match.com back in 2009. He just happened to be he was in the RAF at the time, and he just happened to be based down at Cosford here.
Okay.
And yeah, we were both single at the time, both on Match.com. We met up at Norbury Junction, which is in Stafford, just down.
I know, we used to go to Norbury Junction. I used to
Norbury Junction, and hit it off straight away. And it was so funny because when I left meeting him, because I sat with him a couple of hours, I went to my family's house because it was a birthday on, and they said, "Oh, how'd you get on?" And I walked in the house and said, "I'm going to marry him," and that was it.
And
we were married. That was May 2009. We were married by September 2010, and he left the RAF shortly after that. Actually, he left the RAF, and he's got his own business now too. So he makes out of old vinyl records, he makes notebooks and bookmarks, sells them on eBay and Amazon.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
I need a bookmark, actually. I'll have one.
There you go. So zombie vinyl art. That's what you got to check out on.
Little plug on that. Zombie vinyl art.
That's it. You check him out, and he's doing really well for Christmas. And so, yeah, so that's him. And we've got, as I say, nearly 8-year-old boy. He's doing very well at school, Zach. He's an absolute diamond of a kid, honestly. He's fabulous. And we get up to a lot of gardening. We're going very Tom and Barbara this year. We've got our own compost bin the other week. Very pleased with that. I'm going to do lots of vegetable gardening this year. We did a bit this year and it went all right, but we're going to put more efforts into that. And yeah, just generally, you know, we spend a lot of time together on the weekends when we can. I do a lot of reading. I do knitting, crocheting, sewing, all sorts. I'm really busy. I could do without sleeping, to be honest. But
just well, 9 hours in the day.
That's it. Yeah.
Finally, your chance to sell yourself. We don't normally approve this in Ming, but you're allowed to today. So to sell yourself, why should the customers contact you, and what makes you stand out?
Right. Well,
how did they get in touch as well? Right.
Okay. Sure. So best way to get in touch with me is my email address, which is mschultz, Schultz at Setfords, setfords.co.uk.
Okay.
Phone number 01952 466 426. And hopefully the reason you should engage with me is because I understand how investors think. I'm an investor myself. I've got a couple of 3 single buy-to-lets. But I understand HMOs, serviced accommodation, rent to rent, lease options, all that sort of thing. And I hope that perhaps I'm a little bit more interested than your everyday conveyancer in what you're doing. And that's with no disrespect to my colleagues, but, you know, I think property investors are a certain type of person, you know, not being funny. They're in it for the returns. They're in it for the money.
We are.
Yeah, absolutely. They're in it to, you know, make money, and they want a reasonable price for legal services, and they want it dealt with in a timely manner. And that's what I try and offer my clients.
You've actually dealt with, I'll plug for you, you've actually dealt with 3 of my properties, and I think I called you the Rottweiler at the time as well, because you don't let go. Once you get your teeth in, you don't let it go.
No, you're not the first to call me that. The first person to call me the Rottweiler was my old boss at Namby and Stewart, Neil Blackie, bless him. He's still practicing as well in my planning. I used to chase debts for that firm.
Okay.
That's why they call me the Rottweiler.
Fabulous. I will actually put your details on here as well at the end when we edit the video and things. Okay, that's that done. Let's go to the final 5 then, so a bit more fun again. If you could change something in the world, one thing, what would it be?
Change one thing in the world. I think for people, just generally people, society to be far more kinder to others and to try and help people where they can. I think society generally has gotten very selfish, and particularly during this lockdown, you know, it's become very apparent as to who cares and who doesn't. So I would say, if you've got the time, everybody's got 5-10 minutes a day. If you can do something kind, do it. Yeah.
Very good. I like that one. What is your biggest fear?
Sounds funny. Dying. I've got too much to do. I don't want to die too soon. I've got lots of things I need to do before I leave this world. So I need to be about 100 before I'm happy.
On karaoke night, what would be your song?
Well, this is funny. This reminds me of, I went to Japan once on an organized tour, and they did a karaoke. They didn't actually say karaoke because they can't say karaoke in Japan. They don't do the R's. But anyway, I sung "I Will Survive" by Gloria Gaynor.
Okay.
And it was a riot. So I'd say that.
Okay, cool. What 2 radio stations do you listen to most in the car? Do you listen to the radio?
Well, our car radio doesn't actually work, but we do have radios in the house. Classic FM is what I put on a Friday all day when I'm in the conservatory. And Radio Shropshire, because I like to see what's going on. And it's quite funny because they have people who are retired who ring up, and they're quite a laugh to listen to. So, yeah.
Last one. Seeing as you're smiling, what makes you laugh the most?
Rude jokes.
Okay. I didn't expect that. Go on. Have you got one? Have you got one for me?
No, actually, I don't actually have any of my own. Rude jokes and people saying things are unpolitically correct, both of which usually come from my husband.
Okay, very good. That concludes. We're all done. It's been, how long has it been? 20, 25 minutes, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been good. I found out a lot about you. I thought I knew quite a lot about you, but there's some stuff I didn't know. And rude jokes, I certainly didn't know about that one. So, but Maria, it's been lovely. Thank you ever so much for coming on. I will post this and I'll send you a copy as well.
Okay.
And to everybody else as well, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, stay safe. Great interview from Maria. Interesting person. Some of the stuff I didn't realise. I thought I knew a lot about her, but I don't, obviously. I knew she was Canadian and I knew about work, but that was about it. Anyway, for more videos, follow us on the YouTube channel. I will put a link on here. Also with Facebook, and we've got a WhatsApp group, and we've got LinkedIn. All right, so until next time, speak to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.